Marhaba and hello once again to citizens of the world everywhere who are friends of the Palestinians' cause of justice. Their resistance is 75 years old this year under the Israeli pariah state's apartheid system. And well, if you haven't seen photos of Gaza, just look at a picture of Berlin after World War II, or Ukraine during the war we're looking at, or Turkey after the recent earthquake. Except there'll be one important difference. There's no hope in the Palestinian horizon. Today is Sunday, June 4th, 2023. I'm Dr. Jack Dempsey, American historian and writer, and with me is Palestinian historian and writer, Mr. Muhammad Jihad Ismael, who lives in Deir al-Balah, part of the Gaza territory. Muhammad, as you usually tell me, and I know that it's the truth from other sources as well, that you're lucky if you have 8 hours of electricity each day. Lucky if you can find clean water to drink, and mostly must buy it. You have to compete with 12,000 people on average for food and supplies off the 200 or so trucks that Israel graciously allows into the Gaza territory each day. Lord help you if you need a hospital or medicine, any of the basic human services. And again, most crucially, over these bombed out ruins where 2.5 million people, half of them children, live. There's no hope right now on the horizon. None. Look at the landscape politically. None. So where can it come from? From you and me. That's the truth. This is our standard introduction, but we always offer three ways, if you've wondered at all what you might be able to do to help the people, the Palestinian people, out from under this horrific, murderous, genocidal situation. What else can you say in circumstances like that for 75 years? Well, you can write your own government and appeal and demand changes in the policies that are either indifferent to or supportive of Israeli apartheid. You can practice BDS, boycott, divest, and sanctions, and not purchase any products that are produced in the occupied territories in what is called Israel. And third, Muhammad and I have a little thing going called Family to Family, where you can get to know Palestinian people, perhaps an individual or a family, as my wife and I have here with Muhammad and his family. And you develop a friendship. And from there, find out and see what you can do about what their most crucial needs are and how you can help them. The simplest way, and almost the only way, since they're not allowed to receive books, sweaters for their children, or almost any other human item that might be used as a weapon. Let me try to figure that one out later. But you will decide everything about this. And my wife and I have been using Western Union to send some funding right to Muhammad and his family. No banks involved, no NGOs, nobody profits along the way. Money goes all and directly to the Palestinian people that you decide to help. It's an amazing friendship because you realize, my God, I have no problems in life. That's really the most central thing that it's taught me. And that means a lot of liberation, a lot of joy, and a lot of energy to try to get active, repay that to immense cultural and civilizational debt that we owe to the Palestinian people. So don't be afraid. And we hope you'll be charmed if you go to Jack Dempsey Writer at WordPress.com. Jack Dempsey Writer at WordPress.com. You'll see several photo pages of Muhammad and his family in the home that we've been able to help them expand and make much more functional and comfortable. They're struggling for their human rights, and there's no reason they can't have as best a life as possible. A mile away from them in their poison water, there are Israeli suburbs, beautiful homes with swimming pools. So if that tells you anything about the distribution of water, well, that's great too. We ask you once more, don't be afraid. You are going to enjoy this. You're going to be amazed by it every time you talk with these amazing people. So shut up now. Muhammad, welcome once again. Thank you for being here. And if you'd like to introduce our main subject for today, please feel free to do so. I must ask you one quick question. Last time in our last episode, you were coughing, Muhammad, because you see, ladies and gentlemen, a 2,000-pound bomb exploded fairly close to Muhammad's home, terrifying the children, the whole family, of course, and the whole area. And the air after that explosion was filled with a toxic, thick red dust. Muhammad, in going about his work to help his family every day, could not avoid that, breathing that, and he developed a bad cough. So I made him promise in the last episode to see a doctor about this. He did, and I think he got some medicine, which, as you see, he's not coughing. So there's some good news. Ahmed, again, shut me up now, please. Tell everybody how you're doing, what our main subject is today, and any way you'd like to talk about it.
Hello, brother. I am so happy. I am so glad to be talking with you today and with our friends.
What is that noise?
Yeah. Yes, brother. Let me
Some
just
people will think
close
it's
the.
gunfire.
Just 5 seconds.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, a woman comes up to Donald Trump and tells him, I had a fantastic dream about you. He says, what? Really? Tell me about it. She says, oh, it was a big parade in Washington with fireworks and marching bands and great speeches, all the trimmings of a great ceremony. And he said, really? Tell me, how did I look? Is my hair okay? And she said, well, I don't know. The coffin was closed.
Yes, brother. Thank you so
Just a
much,
little
brother,
humorous
for this.
fill there as we wait for Muhammad. Okay, Muhammad, it's all yours. See, we're not averse to having fun
Thank you,
around
brother.
here, even as we kill every topic we go into.
Yeah. Thank you, brother, for this wonderful introduction. In fact, last time, as you saw, I were coughing. I had some sensitivity in my chest, in my lungs, maybe. So I went to the doctor after I after I booked and bought the battery. I had like an extra $30. I went to the doctor and he did so many physical examinations for me, and he made a X-ray photo for my chest. He told me, Muhammad, you have an inflation in your lungs. It's a severe one, not a little one. It's a
Severe
severe.
inflammation.
So
Yeah.
exactly, brother. So he asked me directly to follow his commandments. He asked me to drink hot drinks like chamomile, other herbs. He gave me 10 tablets of antibiotic. It's very extensive and powerful antibiotic.
Mm-hmm.
He gave me tablets, one tablet for each day. Yesterday, I took the last one, the last tablet, the 10th one. So now I am happy. Even I am optimistic.
I can certainly see that you are much better.
Yeah, yes, brother. You can see I am laughing because
Yeah,
you know,
he's
brother.
laughing. I would still be in shock. I would still be trembling from the event that happened near your home. I don't know how you do it.
Yes, yes, brother. So I am happy now because I feel comfort in my chest, and I get rid of coughing. Now everything is okay. I can
Good.
sleep well.
Okay.
I can do my daily activities well. So I am so happy. Yes, brother.
Well, this is good. So today we're going to talk about what? We have a focus for a conversation and what we call our reportage. We share across these terrible barriers between us. What is our subject today, Mohammed, and how would you like to open it up?
Yes, brother. In fact, today I hope if we can talk about the Gaza gas field or the Gaza field of gas, which locates 30 kilometers of Gaza shores. They call it in the English terminology, in the English media in Britain, they call it Gaza Marine Field, because you know this gas field was explored by the British big company, the British Gas Corporation. So
Okay,
I think we have to
A
talk
British
about
company called British Gas found this area, the Gaza Marine Field. It's sometimes on maps called Mari E, Mari, the letter. And if you simply Google Eastern Mediterranean gas pipeline Israel Greece, you'll find it. And you'll see multiple maps that of all these vast areas of the Eastern Mediterranean that are going to be drilled for gas, there are substantial deposits proven in what Gaza, let alone Palestine and the whole coast there, Ashkelon, Ashdod, all the way up to Dor, historically was at least Palestine. That coastline is now covered with gas rigs that are drilling there. But from what we understand, Mohammed, the Palestinians have no access because of Israeli restrictions on their developing this wealth. What do you know about that? And I understand too that it affects the laws that prevent Palestinian fishermen from going very far out at sea anymore to make a catch. And Palestinian people have always depended for so much of their protein in their diet on the sea and on fish. So again, Mohammed, I'm sorry, but I hand it over to you and tell us what you have to say about all this.
Yes, brother. Unfortunately, Gaza is restricted and sieged not only from the land area, but also from the naval area. You know, Gaza has a seashore on the Mediterranean extends for 45 kilometers, starting from the Egyptian Palestinian borders near the city of Rafah until the northernmost village in Gaza called Beit Lahia or Beit Lahia. So this coastline is about 45 kilometers. Unfortunately, we are restricted and we are sieged. We cannot go deep inside the blue. If our fishermen try to exceed 5 or 6 miles directly, they face aggression from the Israeli Navy. And we have thousands of fishermen who were killed, not only these years, but this happened since Nakba right now. So you speak about more than 7 decades. We have thousands of fishermen who were killed. And you know that in my book, Fidai and the Sea, I talked a lot about those victims who were killed in the Mediterranean by the Israeli Navy. So we suffered a lot, and we still suffer. We're still suffering from this aggression, the
Something
aggression of the Navy inside the Mediterranean.
something that people have to recognize is that when you're out at sea, even 5 or 6 miles, there's no witnesses, there's nobody around. And from what I've read, some of the methods that the Israeli gunboats have used to push back the Palestinian fishermen have been, well, run a very big, powerful speedboat very close to a small wooden fishing boat at high speed. Wake alone could sink that fishing boat and probably lost with all hands. They've been known to use rocket propelled grenades, the old style bazooka weapons, to simply blow a boat out of the water. And they can sometimes use what look like fire hoses, heavy duty water pumps that drop an arc of water from their boat onto the Palestinian boat and thereby, again, swamp it and probably leave the survivors there to manage as they can. So this is the kind of brutality that's the maritime exact image of the brutality that's happening on the land every single day, as you must know from noticing even the daily headlines. Okay, so Mohammed, do you mind if I take 60 seconds to lay out a couple of basic facts? Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes, brother.
from what I've been able to frame in this issue, Europe, the EU, is increasingly desperate for natural gas. The North Sea and Holland's drilling operations are winding down. They're desperate, they're depleted, and they've been getting, up until the war in Ukraine, driven by the United States, very cheap rates of Russian gas, which these wonderful sanctions have now cut off. And this, even so, goes back to at least 1999 when they started searching for natural gas and oil deposits in the Eastern Mediterranean. Greece, Israel, and the island nation, divided as it is, of Cyprus, have had an agreement since 1999 and 2020 to build a pipeline, 1,900 kilometers, that would stretch from Israel to Italy and thereby into Europe, 1,900 kilometers. It's expected to pump 10 billion cubic meters of gas per year. And for all those big numbers, it adds up, or is expected to add up to maybe 4% of Europe's natural gas needs. And all this is, in a sense, rendered moot, if we're lucky, the fact that the EU has a climate catastrophe plan that they're trying to decline in the use of natural gas by 2030, 7 years from now. So what is this all about? The Prime Minister of Greece, Mitsotakis, is a banker and a businessman, but of course he must be, and he is connected with Energia Corporation, which Mitsotakis talks about as, quote, strategic growth and an enhancement of our security. Mr. Netanyahu, the infamous fellow, finds this a deal that is of historic proportions. He expects it to make lots of money for Israel, and he says it's going to be good for peace, between who I'm not sure, because agreements with their Arab neighbors, which are now again completely up in the air, are going to play into this somehow. Egypt is also involved in a lot of this gas field exploration and exploitation. The plain fact that we're trying to get at today, that among all these huge natural gas fields, one off of Gaza alone, Madi B, is extremely large. It lies somewhere between 120, 130 kilometers offshore. Just to refresh people's memory, the international law of the sea states that to 200 miles offshore, it's open water. No country can lay claim to it. But apparently Israel has laid claim to the entire area, okay? And under Article 79 of the International Law of the Sea, the course of a pipeline, that is where it begins, where it takes on its load, and where it goes, is supposed to be subject to consent of, quote, the coastal state involved. So that means that Gaza, as a nation of people, has rights that are being stolen. Their natural gas and natural resources are being stolen. So we don't see this covered anywhere, which is how it came up between Muhammad and I. We desperately want people to know that this ongoing crime is being committed. There have been some objections from Lebanon, for example, which is pro-Palestinian in its politics, mostly around 2010. The United States got involved with what they called gas diplomacy and tried to arrange better agreements between all the parties involved. You will not see the name Palestinian among those agreements. There's a famous book out now called Except for Palestine, and that's how it always is. No matter what is going on, Palestine is the exception somehow. It does not have to be justified in any sense. Mohammed, I hope you forgive me, but I hope that information will prove useful to frame our discussion a little bit. Tell me more of your thoughts and what you hear Palestinian people of the Gaza territory saying, media there. Is there much interest and or outrage about this and so forth?
Yes, brother. Let me clarify something important.
Sure.
I want to take your attention to the year 1982. about 40 years ago. And in that year, nations of the world used to assembly, used to meet in Jamaica, in Montego Bay City in Jamaica,
Okay.
and they used to make the covenant of or the agreement of the high seas. This high seas agreement or covenant used to organize the all the naval borders in the world. According to Montego Bay Agreement, each country should has its own territorial waters and its economical waters. Uh, at least the territorial waters should be 12 kilometers or 12 miles. So you speak about 18 kilometers. Unfortunately, here in Gaza, as I told you, our fishermen cannot go beyond 5 or 6 kilometers.
Yes.
So they doesn't go beyond two and a half miles. So can you imagine, brother, if you go to the market to buy some fish, you cannot find big fishes in the market because because their nets is gathering only the small fishes. They
Yes.
cannot reach to the big fish because they
Not
cannot
doing
go
not
beyond.
doing deep sea fishing
Exactly,
at that
exactly. They
at
cannot
that
go
distance
beyond
from the
five
shore.
kilometers. Yeah, the same thing we can say it about the gas field in the Mediterranean. In fact, this gas field, when it was discovered before 22 years ago, in the year 2001, people in Gaza were very optimistic and very happy because now we have good opportunity for our future, for the future of our children. Our economy will be good, etc. But unfortunately, brother, right now nothing is implemented. The field is closed. There is no work inside it. Let me tell you some numbers, some statistics about this field. If this field
Okay,
work,
I want to tell the audience one thing though, if I may. Again, this is
yeah,
the lack of development by Palestinians of their own natural gas resources, which are well within the limits of it belonging to them, is because of Israeli restrictions on their activities. They are not even allowed to help themselves. I think this is very important for us to keep in mind as we realize the scope and the amount of wealth that could be used to help the Palestinian people. Mohammed, please tell me what you found. Statistics.
yeah, yes, brother. Yeah. I have to assure what you just mentioned. You are right, brother. Israel is doing works of piracy. They are restricting us from reaching this field, and we cannot do any work of development
And
for this field.
that keeps
Unfortunately,
them, that keeps Palestinians from taking any photographs also of the gas rigs
exactly,
that are doing the stealing. So
because simply
how
because
could you even report this crime to who? The United Nations, perhaps? So what? What would they do about it? You would not even be able to take a photograph of this to document this stealing is going on in the zone, the southernmost zone of the whole field called Madi B, which exactly corresponds to Gaza offshore.
yes, brother, you are right. No one can reach this area. No one can shoot photo for this field because simply you are not allowed to go there. You are not allowed uh, to go beside this place. You are not allowed. Let me tell you that 90% of Gaza boats are primitive boats, not
Yes,
motorized. They are moving by oars. So,
like the fleet
so
of fishing boats here in Crete. It's a harbor right
exactly,
near in the city. They're very. I think they're called kayikis and kabates. They are very small, very vulnerable, strong and agile, but very small fishing boats. They are no match for a heavily armed Israeli speedboat, which no doubt run constant patrols around the perimeter of that whole gas field drilling area. It seems to be a pattern, Muhammad, that Israelis don't want outsiders to see what they're doing. Isn't that
Yes,
something we've seen before in a lot of ways? They don't want you to see what they're doing. What does that tell you?
yes, brother. I wanted to tell you some numbers or some
Yes, please.
statistics.
Sorry.
And yeah, yeah. In the case, if we have this field started to produce and started to export gas, what will
Mhm.
happen to Gaza and the Gaza economy? First of all, this will alleviate or reduce the unemployment rate in Gaza because thousands of Gaza youth will find jobs and will find work. So this will
That's right.
reduce the unemployment in Gaza. This is number one. Number two, Gaza will stop buying gas from from outside with very, very, very expensive prices. Can you imagine? We pay $3 per 1 kilogram. We pay three
Yes.
dollars per 1 single kilogram of natural gas.
And over and against that situation, Mohammed, when you mention jobs, industries that could generate wealth, that could help the Palestinian people, you know what those are? Those are reasons for the Palestinians to stay. Those are reasons for them to stay and keep their homes where they are. They want to make you so miserable that you will want to leave.
Yes,
These,
yes, brother.
the
You're right.
facts, you're telling us really clearly what's going on. Continue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They want to make some sort of uprooting for us to be all the life refugees
Yes,
forever.
yes,
Yes, yes. Yeah. Number three, we will generate our electricity by our gas. So we will make some pipes from this field to the generation company in Gaza City, and directly we will replace the gasoline with the natural gas, and you will stop paying horrible amounts of money
yes.
for buying gasoline, and maybe this will enhance also the quantity of electricity. Instead of having only 8 hours per day, maybe you will have 15, 16, maybe you will have full day electricity. So this will enhance the situation of electricity, and also finding cheap gas will make and will develop some industrial sectors here in Gaza. You know, Gaza has so many industrial fields. Their main restriction is the lack of electricity, lack of fuel. So
Mhm.
when you provide them this fuel permanently with a cheap price, I think this will enhance the industry even in Gaza. So can you imagine, brother, what the consequences will be if we spoke about the economy and the income of Gaza? Of course, no doubt, everything will be better.
And this is a deliberate consequence of the blockade. They knew and know very well the kinds of damage they are doing to the Palestinian economy there, and therefore to the Palestinian people, their families, individuals, potentials of individuals that are just cut off and snuffed. There is no hope, there is no future for you. So, what kind of unbelievable cruelty do they have in mind? Do they accept from themselves as a means and a policy toward another people who were there on the land before them and taught them how to live on the land? Okay, we've covered many of those detailed stories in our earlier programs. I want people to know. Mohammed, I do understand that Lebanon, because they are sympathetic to Palestinians, have raised some objections over the last decade or so. And there have even been threats from Hezbollah against Israel for this stealing of resources. The prime minister, I think, then was Lapid, and he yielded and backed off, I think, a little bit to some of their demands, thinking, he said, quote, that this gives him a freer hand against threats. So I guess you take any kind of resistance or speaking up or objections as a threat. No doubt the next word is terrorism. Not allowed to negotiate. That's a form of terrorism. So what's your view of support from Lebanon? Is there any hope of intervention, or what's your whole view of the relationship? Is there
The
any help
relationship
with
the
Lebanon?
Iranian.
Is there any possibility of help from them in alleviating this criminal activity?
Yes, yes, brother. In fact,
Diplomatic, I mean,
yeah, in fact, Iran
legal.
is helping Hezbollah, the party of the God. This is its translation in Arabic, party of the Lord or party of God. They are helping Hezbollah not only for political agenda, but they are helping them for religious agenda. You know, they are representing the Shiite Muslim Shiite sector in Lebanon, and Iran is trying always to play the boxing with Israel. They are trying to play boxing with Israel, but the gloves are Palestinian and Lebanese and Syrian. So Hamas is a glove, and Hezbollah another glove. The Syrian regime a third glove. Islamic Jihad fourth glove. Iran is playing boxing with Israel, but always they are changing the gloves which they are wearing. So
Yes.
Hezbollah is one of the gloves of Iran. If you want to speak about the recent crisis between Hezbollah and the Israeli government, I think, brother, if you look to the map of the East Mediterranean, you will find that they have a mutual field, a mutual gas field, locates between the both borders.
Yes.
Some of this field locates inside Lebanon, and the other side locates inside the Israeli territorial economical water. So I think they have this crisis upon this problem, and I think one day this will lead to a war, because right now
It's
the
happened
problem
before.
is not solved. From time to time, they are trying to give some just uh, uh, some medicine just to
Yes.
alleviate the symptoms, the
And
problem.
I
But
must
right
tell
now,
you, I must tell you that it was just in the Greek newspapers today that they're all excited in the new militarism in Greece, all the money to be made out of war and death machines, that Greece and Egypt are going to be conducting joint military maneuvers in November here in the southern and eastern Mediterranean. So it seems as if somebody feels a little insecure about what they're doing there exactly. Mohammed, we have 5 minutes left. I hope people understand that, wow, you never hear about this ongoing crime, do you? It's all pumped up and just talked about as an exciting economic frontier and opportunity for Greece and Israel and Cyprus and who knows who else. Everybody, here we are again, except the Palestinians. We hope this will somehow energize you to write to your government to demand changes that are pulling Palestinians' land and wealth right out from under them in plain sight, even as they try to prevent any of this being seen, being talked about. Mohammed, our time goes so fast, and I want to thank you, but please, I surrender to you the last 5 minutes here, and anything you'd like to talk about, please do.
Yes, brother. Of course, Greece and Egypt has very, very strong relationships. If you want to speak about the military drills, always they are doing this kind of military drills all together. And sometimes they include Cyprus and Italy, you know.
And I laugh
I
because I
learned,
wonder, what are they doing the drills for? In other words, who is the enemy? Who may become the enemy that they are going to be fighting? No one that I can think of. I tell you, if I could honestly think of one. What are they doing this for? Please.
yes, brother. The enemy is Turkey. The enemy is Turkey because Turkey has no portion in the East Mediterranean gas.
Yeah, they are not happy about this.
Yeah, yes, brother. It's the sole country that it has no a portion in the new discovered gas in the East Mediterranean basin. Right now, they have nothing. They have zero. They have zero gas in the East Mediterranean. Turkey started this crisis when they used to make some agreements with the Libyan government when they used to make some borders
I see.
arrangement between them and Libya, and forgetting that there is a Greek island called Crete. If you look to the agreement which was signed between Turkey and Libya, they are drawing the maps and classifying the economical water between them,
Yeah.
and they neglect the existence of Crete, you know. Greece was annoyed from this agreement between Turkey and Libya. Also, Egypt was annoyed too because Turkey used to take some parts of the Egyptian eastern waters,
Let me ask you a
which
quick
locate.
question now. Let me ask you a quick
Yeah,
question. I stand corrected, yes, because Turkey would be the obvious quote enemy that they might find themselves in military conflict over these resources. But on the other hand, what explained the hole in my head there, I think, is that it's impossible, it seems to imagine that Turkey is what? Going to invade the Eastern Mediterranean? That Turkey even would think about invading Greece in order to put it down and take those resources away? Would be the most unbelievable catastrophe the region has seen since ancient times. It's
after,
crazy. So,
after what
Mohammed,
happened.
any other short, quick point you want to make? We have a minute.
Yeah, yes, brother. After what happened in Ukraine, what happened between Ukraine and Russia, I think everything is possible. Everything is possible. And don't forget what happened in the middle of 70s when a severe war took place in Cyprus
Yes,
between the Greeks and the Turks over
yes.
over the sovereignty in Cyprus. So everything is possible.
Everything is possible except for the Palestinians. And there we are again as we close. Mohammed,
Yes,
thank you
brother. For
very much for your
Palestinians, everything is impossible.
thank you very much for your time and all the information and points of view that you've shared today. I know the audience appreciates it. Ladies and gentlemen, please write to your government for changes in the apartheid system that afflicts Palestinians. Practice BDS against Israeli colonial produced products and talk to us about family to family. Make your own relationship that can reach over the walls and help the Palestinians. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.